if we had it.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of schools will do that homeschooling.
Because that shouldn't even be. You can't, I don't think this has, in the past, let's say, 20, 30 years ago, that was not the case.
Yes.
It's never been go to school. Some of us trekked a long distance.
Yes.
Now you have bushes even.
Yes.
Not now that real estate have taken over the bushes.
Exactly.
I know you're saying
you have corners that you cut through just to get to school and you're safe.
It wasn't rampant. Yes, we had crimes, criminalities, but it wasn't this bad.
Yes.
Right. So I think that
if you sorry to cut you short, I feel like a lot has changed coming from 20, even 15 years ago.
Right.
I was in a seminar and somebody was saying that back in the days when we see our elders, we want to help them if they are carrying something heavy, we want to help them, which is true. But let us not also take away the fact that we are facing security challenges, because the person was comparing that children these days don't do that they just pass. But guess what? Right now, children can't even do that because you can't trust anybody.
Exactly.
Because right now, we have old people who are transporting cannabis from one place to the other, criminal minds. So, I think comparing that to homeschooling, it can't... A lot has changed, really.
A lot has changed. So, but I think that schools, especially in rural communities, they require stronger security measures. Those in rural communities, because these things, they seldom happen in the urban areas. They do happen, but it must be regulated, a kind of operation. Yes, but in rural areas, it's so rampant there, and I think that security measures should be, it should be tightened in that area. Okay, moving away from that story, lessons learned. So we're moving on now. WAEC NECO examination fee hike reversal. I think that when they announced, let me read, following widespread public criticism, the federal government suspended the proposed increase in WAEC and NECO examination fees after concerns that it will make education less accessible for many families. The former fee was 27,500, and then now raising it to 50,000 naira. And I'm wondering, in this economic crunch and the bites that we are experiencing, some parents cannot even afford the 27,500 naira. And then you are raising it to 50,000 naira. Why? So I think, the proposed increase introduced was at the wrong time. It's always at the wrong time. Remember when subsidy was removed? Very wrong time. And now this is also coming at the wrong time. Yes, there are other things that you need to, they will tell you, agitating, or some indices that they are working on. But this increase is not one at the right time. It's not a square peg, the square hole, the square peg. I'm sorry, it's not at all. So
I'm just really happy that they had to call themselves to order, and that has been put on hold for further consultation. But what I just want to say in this issue is the government should think most times before they do things, because this just feels like, you put it out there, then you now saw the reaction of the people, then you now
they're trying to test waters,
took it back, test waters. But the average Nigerian should know by now that life is not easy even for the living.
I agree.
There are families, because right now, back in the days, we used to have the rich, the middle class,
and the poor.
But right now, there's no middle class. It doesn't feel like there's a middle class. It's either you are rich or you are poor. Exactly. And there are families out there who, as they've eaten this morning, they don't know what's going to happen in the afternoon. They can't even boast of night food. Now, there are also families who have 4 or 5 children following each other. And that means school fees as well is following each other. And when you now say, because formerly, I think WAEC was 27,500, and then 500, and then NECO was 30,000 naira, and then you now increase it to a flat rate of 50,000 naira. And when I first read that news, it felt like they were helping the people, because the way the news was put, that they are trying to make it a flat rate. You know, even that flat rate is not flat for many families. You know, so I really like the fact that they had to withdraw that. And WAEC, and the thing about WAEC is that it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. So just in case a family that has 5 children following each other, say SS3, SS2, SS1, before you can recover from the payment of this one, the next one is entering that class. And you know, it's not just WAEC, you're paying school fees and then you're paying WAEC. It's not easy for many families. Even people who are helping families and paying scholarship for them, it's also not easy. But many of these people doing this thing, they are just philanthropists. They do it out of a kind heart.
Right.
Let's not there are other priorities that we have, and this one certainly, although their reason for doing this is that they said these writing materials have become expensive, but we can also have the government support and make things easy for the children.
The children that was removed, some of the money should be channeled in there.
Especially because we say that children are the leaders of tomorrow. Let's not choke the leaders before they become actual leaders. So yes, kudos to the persons who thought it wise to withdraw that and say, you know what, let's go for further consultation.
Right. Okay, let's talk about suspension of public graduation ceremonies in Delta State schools. Now, the decision to halt elaborate graduation ceremonies in public schools has generated mixed reactions among parents, educators, and school administrators. The objective appears to be reducing unnecessary financial pressure on parents and restoring moderation within the education sector or system. Now, while some received that news with mixed reaction, of some parents were actually happy with hearing that news, some are not. And those are the issues that we are having, because the way some parents take things and blow it out of proportion is really alarming. Yeah, graduation ceremonies have increasingly become expensive social events. Let me take Asaba for instance. I'm here. And I attend some, I see some, not just Asaba, in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Go to Lagos, go to Abuja, the way they do things. Just go to some schools when their children are celebrating birthdays. I think it's dying down right now. But before now, many people are now beginning to talk about that this is not a priority. Yes, you want to do, you love your child. We know you love your child. But don't overdo things, blow things out of proportion just because you can afford it. And for me, a total ban is not welcome by me, but I think they came up with another policy and saying the only people who are allowed to join in the graduation or to organize graduation are the people, the GSS, not even, I think primary 6
and
SS3.
Yeah.
And even when we are doing it, there are so many terms and conditions. And I think that for me, it's a welcome development. If you ask me.
Well,
but for those parents that have sewn a suit and bought all manners, yes. I'm sorry.
Well, for me, when I heard that news, I felt some type of way because my baby is supposed to be graduating. From nursery school, from preschool into nursery.
Now then we'll talk about.
Actually, when I saw that news, I felt like they were talking to parents like me as well, because some of us are just extra. We can't help it. Some of us are just extra. But I felt like what they would have been able to do is to put down laid rules and say, you know what, if graduation must happen, you can do this, you can do this. Because yes, I agree with you that graduations have become very expensive. I remember that for my other kids, they would sell fabric, they would ask you to go and sew, and by the time you're done sewing, and because trust me, this person's style is not this person's style
at all.
This mommy A might want to be extra, mommy B might want to keep it simple in her children's, outfit. And then this year, before the news now blew up, they now said, okay, you know what, we'll give you color, buy whatever you want to get for your kids and make, and then suits for the boys, the graduating, students. For me, I'm extra to the point that when my kids are having graduation, I want to celebrate them extra. I even cook. I bake for them because I believe in keeping memories.
Yeah.
I believe in keeping memories. I believe that the memory you create today it stays, and then you look back years later and you're happy that I was celebrated. I think there's nothing wrong in celebrating children, because when you celebrate children, it spurs them to do more. It gingers them to do more and get better in their academics. And I think we should also get to a point where we don't just award television shows or live shows. We should celebrate education. For example, during these graduations, we also have awards giving.
Yes.
And those award giving, even though your child might not be part of it, your child just seeing that, this person was awarded, people clapped, the person came out, could just spur the child to want to do better next time.
They can do it without the elaborate and expensive.
So on the flip side, what a lot of schools are now doing is what they call prize giving day. So that elaborate ceremony has been put aside. And I also want to say that aside from the fact that parents do too much, if I should put it that way, even the schools now put a lot of burden on families, where they tell you to pay a certain amount of money for the graduation ceremony. They decorate the hall, and then when your child doesn't pay, because trust me, you see, when I was growing up, there was prize giving day, but it cannot happen in my house. There was a rule that once your examination finishes, you sit back at home and wait for your next resumption. If there's any prize that should be given to you, you collect it on your next resumption. That was the rule in my house.
Okay, so you're done with your exam.
You just stay back. Extra day of I want to go and play till they give me my result is cut out. But then there are still parents who don't mind. But trust me, that statement that says all fingers are not equal is so true.
I agree.
Yes, it's a welcome development. Although we are not happy, a lot of us are disgruntled. But if that would help to curb the excesses, then it's a welcome development.
You can see the recognition, the meaningful recognition,
right? And
academic achievement.
Exactly. And at home too, if you have children who are doing well, you can celebrate your child at home.
Buy the cake,
which is okay. Buy
cut it for them at home.
Cut it at home. Do your photo shoot. Yeah.
Do all the thing, right?
Yes.
So let's
because that looks like a lot of parents do it to tension. Parents, yes.
All right. Let's talk about the import duties on vehicles. The recent discussion surrounding vehicle import duties continue to generate concern among car dealers, businesses, and prospective buyers, as import costs directly affect vehicle prices and transportation expenses. Now, the vehicle import duties extend beyond luxury purchases. They have broader economic implications. For those of some persons who may be wondering, what thing concern me? I don't want to buy Lexus or the Maybachs or the Rolls
Teslas.
Teslas. They are saying even the Honda and the what's that one? Toyota. That you want to buy is the same thing. I think the questions that I may want to now ask: can Nigeria's local automobile industry realistically meet current demand? Because we have the likes of that man at Navy.
Innocent. Yeah.
And apart from him, maybe we have others that their names are not ringing yet. But can't the government of the day, because the way they stifle some of all these businesses that wants to see the day of the light is the issue we're having.
Right.
Why can't we'll continue to have this kind of problems if we don't support our own. Back in the days, I remember when former president was on board, former president Goodluck Jonathan. There's a mantra that is still ringing in my head. It's Nigeria, buy Nigeria, drive Nigeria. In fact, that time they stopped anything imports. People still smuggle things in, but it was minimized, sort of.
Yeah.
And there are so many questions about, if we start producing our vehicles here, what about our roads? Our kind of roads, will this survive? Will it stand the test of time? Why can't government just, this is an individual doing it. Can't government venture into that kind of, car dealing or car producing or manufacturing? That's the right word.
Yeah.
Manufacturing company. Now we are talking about unemployment. If you have somewhere, maybe in a state, each state you have a place where we do car manufacturing. This is a way of also taking people off the street. And you can even decide to bring, if you want to import, you can import the Igbos to come and teach us. And we start doing it on our own. We do it the way that it will suit the kind of roads that we have, right? Yeah. And that way we don't have issues with this kind of.
I like the fact that you say suit the kind of roads that we have, because yes, it's one thing to buy cars. It's another thing to be sure that those cars can move on our roads. We can see what's happening in Lagos at the moment with the flooding and all of that. So now imagine that I own a Bentley in a place like Lagos.
You carry your Bentley on your head because you aren't there. You carry it on your head.
Honestly, so I think that it's no news anymore that Nigerians are one of the highest number of individuals that buy luxury cars. Even when we know that this car is not going to work on our Nigerian road, just because we want people to turn when we drive past. When we drive past, we end up still buying it. Some cars that people even buy, they still don't have good mechanics for those cars. People still don't, because I know that mechanics get used to a particular kind of car, so that's why you have mechanics who are good with Toyota vehicles. Right. You have some who are good with Mercedes, but these days Nigerians don't even think about that. Imagine getting a car like Ford into Nigeria. Ford is a US car, right? And then when the car gets bad, they have to travel a long distance before they can get the parts of that vehicle. But on the flip side, car dealers have expressed mixed reactions to the reduction in vehicle import duties announced by the Nigeria Customs Service, in which the duty on used vehicles is now 5% from 15%, so it's been reduced, while duty on brand new vehicles have dropped from 20% to 10%. Now, the Customs Service said the measures was aimed at cushioning the impact of the green tax surcharge and supporting economic activities, which is not bad. But some dealers have welcomed the policy, saying it will lower vehicle prices, reduce business costs, and improve access to vehicles for Nigerians. However, noting that the benefits might not be felt immediately, as many vehicles currently in stock were imported under the previous duty rates, adding that lower prices were expected to reflect in the market after existing inventories had been sold off. Right. Now, other cautions that the gains of the policy could be limited by the deprivation of the naira, high shipping costs, port charges, and other taxes, stressing that while the reduction in import duties was a positive step, factors such as exchange rate and overall business conditions would determine the extent of which Nigerians benefited from lower vehicle prices. So it still boils down to the fact, that we need to do these things here.
Exactly.
Yes,
that's what I said.
Start patronizing our own. And the truth is that the reason why people don't patronize our own is that most times there's comma in our own. So sometimes the vehicle looks very fine from the outside, but when you enter, it's not so strong. So I think this is what people look at. But then, if he has now brought up another valid suggestion that why can't we bring the foreigners to teach our people, to show them some tricks on how to make these vehicles durable and sound for our Nigerian roads, and then we're good to go. Because it's one thing to reduce the price of one thing, but then there are other things in line as well that we have to pay. So yes, good development, but we have to look in deepwards or inwards.
All right, thank you so much, Cheesy, for that wonderful. Are you sure you're not going to be my analyst?
No.
Anyway, our analyst will soon join us to look at our national dailies this morning. But on our first stop, we're going to be talking about the rainy season and flooding. Yes, the rainy season and flood. And we'll be joined by Mekumi Kidochukwu Prince via a phone conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.